Okay, picture this. You finally sit down at your desk, you've got your coffee, and you are totally ready to just crush your to-do list. But, you decide to check Instagram for just a second. Or maybe you just open a single YouTube short, kind of like a little brain warm-up.
Right, yeah. Just one.
Exactly. Just a super quick peek. But then you look up, and somehow 2 whole hours have literally vanished into the void. You went in to check one single email, and suddenly you know the entire lore of a 19th century shipwreck from some random TikTok deep dive.
It happens to literally all of us.
It's just the most frustrating feeling. So in today's explainer of the source material, we're diving deep into this concept called the dopamine trap. And honestly, I'm feeling a little personally attacked by what we found.
Because I honestly ask myself this incredibly guilt-ridden question almost every single day. Why can I watch shorts for an hour, but struggle to read for 10 minutes? Like, an hour of scrolling is nothing, but 10 minutes of a book literally feels like I'm climbing Mount Everest. I've always just assumed my brain is, well, fundamentally lazy. Like I just completely lack basic discipline.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what everyone assumes, right? We all just internalize that shame. But the source material reveals that this assumption is actually completely backwards.
We all think it's just a lack of discipline, but it's not. That isn't lack of discipline, that's conditioning. It is algorithmic conditioning. Your brain is actively being hijacked.
Wait, so you're telling me my brain isn't lazy?
No, your attention is being trained every day.
You're telling me I don't just have bad habits, I'm actually being conditioned?
Every single day. I mean, tech companies literally hire behavioral neuroscientists to figure out exactly how to keep your eyes glued to that screen. Think about the pull to refresh feature on your phone. It is designed specifically to mimic a slot machine. You pull down, there's that slight little delay, and then, boom, a variable reward. Maybe it's a like, maybe a text, maybe it's absolutely nothing. That uncertainty is the exact thing that hooks you. Your brain isn't failing, it's doing exactly what it's being trained to do by the supercomputers in your pocket. To understand why this is so terrifyingly effective, we kind of have to look at how human beings are actually wired. Think about how we're wired from an evolutionary standpoint. For thousands of years, dopamine was our ultimate survival tool. 10,000 years ago, it was the massive chemical rush you got from finding food. It literally kept you from starving. 1,000 years ago, it rewarded you for building a community or surviving a harsh winter. Dopamine specifically rewarded really useful, highly difficult behavior. Okay, so it was basically like a biological pat on the back for keeping humanity alive. Exactly. But then you jump to today. Infinite scrolling. Your brain now gets these massive, continuous dopamine rewards for doing absolutely nothing. Literally 0 effort required. Oh wow, I see it now. One swipe, one notification, one short video. It's just tiny, effortless hits of pleasure on demand.
Again and again and again. You don't have to hunt, you don't have to build, you just move your thumb half an inch.
Right. And because there's this constant, effortless flood of instant gratification, normal, everyday life starts to feel completely unbearable. It's like everything else in the real world is moving in slow motion compared to the feed.
And that is the terrifying mechanic of the dopamine trap. Simple things can't compete anymore. Once your brain expects this constant, artificially high level of stimulation, a 10-minute task like reading, studying, or honestly just sitting with your own thoughts, it doesn't just feel boring. It physically feels painful. Your brain is essentially going into withdrawal.
So it's not that a book is inherently boring. It's that the book is competing against a supercomputer designed to feed me dopamine.
Exactly. The book literally never stood a chance. Your dopamine system is just completely overloaded. Which brings us to a really stark reality check from the data. You don't lack potential. You lack attention.
Man, that hits really hard.
It should. Social media and short-form content have made attention the rarest skill in the modern world. People walk around genuinely thinking they aren't smart enough or capable enough to achieve their goals. But the truth is, they just can't hold their focus long enough to see their own potential through. Wait, so you're telling me I don't need more motivation? I mean, I've spent hundreds of dollars on fancy planners. I've downloaded like 10 different productivity apps that I never even open. I've tried to force myself into these grueling 5 a.m. routines because I thought I just needed to, grind harder. Was all of that completely useless? Have I been trying to solve the wrong problem this whole time?
Yes, you've been treating a symptom, not the actual disease.
And here's the scary part. We completely buy into this illusion that we just need more motivation. We beat ourselves up constantly. But the reality, it's overstimulation. Millions of people are literally losing their minds thinking they're fundamentally broken or lazy, trying to solve a motivation problem when their dopamine receptors are just completely fried from their screens.
You cannot build a focused life with a distracted mind. That is a deeply disturbing realization. We are losing control of our attention without even noticing it's happening.
And most people don't realize what happens next. So, how do we possibly escape a trap that is literally built into the devices we carry in our pockets every single second of the day?
Well, the source material actually outlines a counterattack. And surprisingly, you don't have to throw your phone in the ocean and move out to the woods. It's actually about making small, very uncomfortable shifts, spending time in total silence, reading for just a few minutes a day to rebuild that muscle, going for a walk without taking your phone with you, and above all, letting your brain actually feel boredom. Wait, feel boredom? Are you kidding? I spend all day running away from boredom. That panicky, antsy feeling is exactly why I open the apps in the first place.
I know, but here is the ultimate paradigm shift the research points to. Boredom is not the enemy. It is the state where focus actually returns.
Wow, that completely flips everything. The very thing I was running from is actually the cure?
Yes, when your mind becomes calm again and you finally stop flooding it with those cheap dopamine hits, your baseline resets, you start being able to engage with normal, quiet life again without feeling that physical withdrawal. And when that baseline resets, you realize something incredibly powerful. Focus is a superpower now. Just think about it. While everyone else is twitching and reaching for their phones, just waiting in line at the grocery store, the person who controls their dopamine can actually sit down, write a business plan, read a whole book, and truly execute on their goals. Most people out there, they're just going to keep scrolling. They'll keep distracting themselves and wasting their attention. But the people who actually learn to master this, they will own their future. So it really just comes down to a choice. It does, which is why this leaves us with one final, very real ultimatum. Who controls your attention? You or your algorithm?